you were hoping,
just when you were hoping you could have an extra 30 seconds of peace, and then you realise the calendar that you put on the entry was wrong. So first and foremost, hello and welcome to Friday. Hope you have had a good day and are ready for the weekend. We are here for Nurburgring once again. It feels like we were only here yesterday. Which we were, of course, for two races, the Rookies and the Late Night Cup. The Late Night Cup was the calendar which you just seen a few moments ago. In terms of what we have tonight, so we have two races ongoing at the same time. We have the Pro Series and the AM Series tackling Nurburgring for tonight. Sorry, that 30 second, that 1 minute has really caught me off guard, and I don't know why. So yes, we've got 13 minutes left to practice before we go into qualification, and then we go into a 60-minute race with one pit stop for fuel and tyres, and that has to happen in a 20-minute pit window. Last time out in terms of the league, we had quite a few newcomers to the division, so let's have a quick recap on what happened last time out. So Artem Kutuzov had a fantastic afternoon, had qualified at the back and fought his way through to P8. Tudor is in P7, Jan Duffner, who we were just looking at a few moments ago, is in P6, while Pedro Sodre is in P5 with a 5th position last time out. Nick the Stick is in P4. Stuart Pryor put on a decent title challenge last time round, and is hoping to go one step further this year and can claim the championship was in P3. Christian Bertoncello in P2 and Jerome Acuna in P1. So the two Honda drivers currently occupying first and second. Interesting to see how the potential nerf of the Honda has impacted their performance. We've also got the Pro Series, which will be on the Formula Racing League TV Twitch channel. And last time out, you had the Irish Potato, Terence Keenan, in P5, Marco Keddy, who gets to do 2 races in a row, which is quite unusual for him, in P4, James Perry, P3, Mattia Nichira has won this championship a couple of times, and Michael Vilazzi in P1 with both the fastest laps, so 2 teammates occupying the top 2 positions, one in the Honda and one in the Mercedes. So, what's tonight going to bring for these drivers at Nurburgring? Let's have a quick look at the track in itself. I find it probably one of the hardest tracks to drive, personally, and it was... hello Mr. Darren Mark, hope you are well. You've got the Yokohama curve and the Mercedes arena, which are tight technical, tricky bits. Head into the Ford curve before you drop down into the Dunlop curve, into the Schumacher S's, always difficult to negotiate, and then the Warsteiner curve, through the Advan Bogdan, into the horrible NGK chicane, through the last turn, and then down the start finish straight, and that completes a lap at Nürburgring. Drivers today will probably be aiming for the 1 minute 54s, maybe 55s. It's probably more realistic for some of these AM drivers, but there are some quite rapid drivers on track tonight. So let's have a look at one of our drivers in focus, which is Mr. Christian Bertoncello, and let's have a look at his track record. So he's completed 11 races here in FRL, has had 3 pole positions and 193 points scored. Within the new rating system that was announced in the announcements channel earlier, which I'll go into a bit more detail, he's classified as silver. He's had 2 wins with 3 podiums and has driven 267 laps. His overall rating is 48.2, which is above the 45 threshold to go in silver. Has driven the Honda most of all, with 212 laps. Over the last 6 races, he has improved quite a bit, with a dynamic rating of 69.8. Last season on PureSimGear GT3 Friday, he finished P8. He finished P8 with 134 points. Had a fantastic time at Imola, most notably. This season he's currently second with 39 points. Hello Robin Dunn, hope you are well, and hope you're well. Look forward to tonight's racing and comms. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't commentated on the AM since Bathurst last season, before we had to merge them together, and sadly missed round 1 last week due to having to drive back from wonderful Sheffield for the most pointless journey of my entire life. Simon Turner there just pulling to the side. So in terms of Nurburgring, let's have a look at the laps which we've had here. So it's flashed up as Alfie Barron as the fastest driver, but we know that got beat by Thomas Nopek last time out, so I'm going to have to go look in my dark room. So the previous fastest lap before Nopek absolutely obliterated was a 53.9. Fastest AM time, well, let's go with fastest Pro AM time, was Denis Markov with a 54.9. So I'm anticipating that to probably be broken as well. Jan Duffner looks in quite good form with a 54.655 at the moment, followed closely by Jerome Acuna. Car number 213 is in P3, and Christian Berzenseller, who we were looking at a few moments ago, in P4. Bjorn Claessens did quite well last time out in the AMS Tier 2, so we'll be hoping to carry on that form and claim another victory. We are going to have a night race here in Nurburgring, so it's always something a bit prettier to look at with these drivers at night driving around the track. Nick Stick currently occupies P6. Alan Brown's changed back to the Aston Martin in P7. Dries Velhurst in P8. Ryan Blanchett P9. Stuart Pryor 10. Ian Chica Thompson in P11. Fabian Carner P12. Mark Vilheim, aka the Playboy, in P13. And Armin Kasanstanovic in P14, and Georgi Filipov in P15. Derek Ruh, nice to have him back in the in Godzilla in P15. Mark GG in 16. Simon the Turninator Turner in 17, and Borgio in P18. Terry Williams, no relation, in 19, and Barry Gibbons in P20. Christopher Gedman's also in the server, and he's arrived with more than 2 minutes to go before the race, so he must feel well prepared, having more than 4 laps of practice. It looked like there was contact there from Jan Duffner, but I'm not sure if that was just a little bit of lag creeping in. Tyre temps absolutely are going to be very crucial, especially if you've been able to manage that, because practice was from 7 o'clock, qualifying's at 8, and then the race is at 9 PM, so it's going to be difficult to make sure you're managing those tyre pressures as the temperatures drop. And don't forget, special highlight, we do have 9 hours of Kailami tomorrow, which will be live on the Formula Racing League TV Twitch channel as well. So make sure you tune in for the entirety, which will be streamed. Mr. JR, hope you are well. Glad you can write in the chat. Dell for the win and Gedman for a close second. I'm not going to give you odds on that one. Well, Chris has been, as much as it pains me to say it, has been performing really, really well of late. So I wouldn't be surprised if he grabs a cheeky podium, just to annoy me, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm just looking through. So go on the Scots, JR, says Darren. So Celtics unite, I think that's a case of. I do like this Mark Vilheim library. Yeah, it's quite special. So 23 drivers currently on the grid for the AMS. expecting potentially a few more, judging by the check-in. So we have 28, so potentially another 5 drivers to join the server, but they don't have too long left, which would be a shame if they don't manage to make it on time, because we do try and lock the servers to stop any late arrivals for any lag spikes during qualifying, because that is an absolute nightmare. Just watching behind me, last time out, managed to 156.9. Just received a lovely DM moaning from one of the drivers, mentioning that the times are a bit quick for Am. But there we go. What can we do if the method of entrance to the tier when you join in is a hot stint, and people love to throw a few sandbags in there. So JR is playing the bagpipes screaming tonight. So, singing Flower of Scotland in your kilt then, JR, I see. That'll be an interesting new podcast, if and when that returns. Bloody hope it does. So, we've just got Donnelly has just joined in as well, so quite a fair few new faces, which are new to me in FRL. Smiley's best ever lap would put him P6. Are you ever going to change your YouTube tag, Chris? Because didn't you have that as a Porsche Cup ACC Winter Cup winner at one stage? And you haven't given me a same check either. Especially because last night my sounding was terrible. Dries Verhurst has not uploaded his livery, so we're seeing a wonderful carbon McLaren going around the track. We're just seeing the lights coming on, just over a minute left of qualifying, of practice to go before we hit into the qualifying. Just listen to how sounds good, thank you, Chris. Listen to how patient Dries was on the throttle going through that last corner. See if we can listen in to him braking and his strategy coming out. So he brakes as soon as he gets level with the apex. You see a car off in the distance. You can just see how patient he is getting back on the throttle again through the Mercedes. There's definitely not some Sheffieldian accent coming through. Chris, the only way I managed to win anything was replacing myself in the bottom tier in the Mighty Ginetta. So, cool. I'm glad my sound works. That's always good. Don't listen to the stream from last night from of the Porsche Cup. Chris, how many tablets have you got watching tonight's race? Or devices? I think you had your phone, your TV, your tablet, all watching different races at one time, don't you? Alright, Duck. See, I can't even... That's Manchester though, isn't it? Alright, Duck. Anyway, so I got over my cheese toasty. I had barbecue pulled pork, brioche buns this evening with some chips on the side with some salt and vinegar as my pre-match warm-up. We're just cricking over to 8 PM UK time. Oh, no pros on yet. Well, it should be on shortly, I hope. Let's see, I can't drive the Audi for toffee. So I'm just waiting to... I may have some company. And then people can tell me if it's in fact Woody that's causing me problems. So that was Irish and Scouse all in one. So we are every driver apart from Mr. Acuna is in the pits. So Jerome Acuna is just completing his last lap. He does have a car in front of him as he heads through the Mercedes arena. Hello, Mr. Woodward.
Good evening, Mr. Williams.
Right, let's find out if it's you who is killing my sound. So can we now give a sound check if it's Woody killing my sound or not? That would be good. How are you, Mr. Woodward?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm always spiffing. Never in a bad mood, me.
Just a quick one while you're on.
Green light, give it all you can.
Have you seen the comms chat? I know we're probably live. Chromedix is saying the stream name's wrong.
Ah, bugger.
I know that's only and only you can adjust thing.
Yes. Has he started to stream yet? Do you know?
2 seconds, I will find out.
Yes, he has. Okay, you talk.
Okay, I'll talk. So I've missed qualifying. I've just.
Well, you haven't missed qualifying.
Oh, sorry, qualifying's just starting.
Yes.
Okay, perfect timing. So first one out is Demokash Kish in the McLaren. Not sure who James has got on the screen at the minute.
We've currently got Derek on stream, actually. So yeah, we've got we're looking at Derek's rear bum, and then we're currently looking at Ryan Blanchett, who's just let a car go past him. I am going to scroll through chats.
So, how was the practice sessions looking?
So there were some very quick times. So in fact, someone's messaged me and said that's a bit quick for Rams, isn't it? Which was slightly ironic from the person who it was. But so Jerome Acuna and Jan Duffner were setting times low 54s. I agree, that's not AM times. But
low 54s.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So I can understand, but not much we can do about it right now. So Ryan Blanchett is just crossing the line to start his first lap. So drivers have 15 minutes to set their fastest lap they can, and then all the preparation goes down towards the race.
Yeah.
We watched together last night the Porsche Cup race, didn't we?
We did, and I've just realised I was in the wrong server.
Oh, you're watching the pros currently, are you?
I looked and I went, there's no Ryan Blanchett in this server. That's what you call organised and jumping on literally as qualifying starts.
Yeah, and we just had a little bit of a lag spike as James Smaggersgale joins the server, so we've now got 23 drivers who are going to be fighting in...
Oh yes, it's Will Hines Playboy Porsche livery, isn't it?
I love that livery.
So do I.
I might steal it.
I might steal it for tomorrow.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah, because
I don't know. Is something happening tomorrow, James?
I've already mentioned it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there is the 9 hours of Kyalami, which we're all excited about. Driver briefing at 12:30, race starting at 2 o'clock, I think it is.
Yes, I think it's around 2 o'clock the race starts.
Yeah, but I never see. It's a bit irrelevant of what time the race starts for me.
No, because you're probably doing stuff from about 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, usually. But yeah, it's just an endurance race day is essentially pretty much if it's a 9-hour event, it feels like it's a 16-hour event for most of us, because we have like 2 or 3 hours at the start and then 2 or 3 hours at the end where we're trying to tidy up the chaos. Nick Stick pops in a 53.3. 55.3, sorry. Straight away, obliterated with a 54.7.
Nice.
And then obliterated again with a 54.4.
Wow.
So yeah, not too slow. Some of these lap times which are coming out. So Jan Duffner has managed that 54.4, and he's going even quicker as he's going through the first sector. Bjorn Klassen's in was P6, is in now in P7, has just started his second lap. Ian Chika Thompson is in P6 with his first attempt of a 56.5. So far 12 drivers have set their first laps. What do you think about Mr. Brizzle changing his car?
Yes, I think it was on the rookies. He asked if he could change his car, and then he got told about the points he'd lose if he did. But from what I've heard, he wasn't liking driving the 720 on anything longer than a 30-minute sprint race. So on
Chica's in the wall.
Chica's in the wall. You'll love me doing that. But yeah, with Brizzle changing his car, he said to me, I think it was on Thursday, that he didn't like driving the McLaren for anything more than like a 30-minute sprint race. I don't know why, because I think that car just gets stronger the further in a stint you get.
See,
I think it's very kind to its tyres from last time I drove it.
It's very kind to its tyres, but depending on where you qualify, it can be an absolute nightmare. If you qualify at the front of the grid and you disappear, it's brilliant. If you're at mid-pack or back of the pack, it is dreadful because the slightest bit of damage on it, and it just doesn't want to play. It doesn't want to play racing anymore.
Yes, I agree.
So
I'm sure it's made out of paper mache.
Yeah, definitely. It's such an aero-dependent car. It just doesn't enjoy being touched. I know.
No, it doesn't.
Well, some people like to be touched. Some people don't like to be touched. I drove the car I drove after the McLaren was the Mercedes, and that likes. That was
similar, wasn't it?
No, that likes to be full on fisted. It is a battering ram. It just wants.
Nice.
It's like the hobnob of GT3 cars. If anyone doesn't get that reference, go watch. Was it Peter Kay?
Yeah, dip me again. Like the SAS of biscuit dipping.
Yeah, that was it. Jerome McCunna goes into P1 with a 54.3. So the pace is starting to heat up now. So Jan Duffner is currently 4/10 quicker than his fastest time, and that's going to potentially drop him into the 53s. In terms of any Welsh drivers out there tonight, Darren, I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a look, see if we can get. I don't think it gives Welsh flags on the nation. I think it gives the good old GB flag. So I'm not 100% sure. No.
Is it Terry Williams? Isn't he from that neck of the woods?
That neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I don't know. So Jan Duffner has gone fastest with a 53.977.
And parked it straight in the pits.
That's just not fair. So one of the things I was going to try and explain was we have altered the driver rating system in the past 12 hours. So we were having a conversation about it a couple of days ago in terms of how FRL we always do our best to try and make things better. And yes, okay, I created it, but one of the good things about our FRL, or a unique selling point about FRL, is our driver rating system, and I think it adds an extra element. No, it's not as perfect as LFM or anything like that, but I think it's pretty detailed the more you race with us. So from next season onwards, the driver ratings are going to be split into 4 categories. You'll have the AMs, which have a driver rating of less than 30. You'll have the Pro-Ams, which have a driver rating less than 45. And then you'll have Silver Class, which is a driver rating less than 60. And then you'll have the Pro Class, which is a driver rating above 60. That gives us a potential to run 4 splits of 4 tiers, so multiple different permutations of what we're doing. So for example, on GT3 Friday we could run the Pros and the Silver in one server, and the Pro-Ams and the AMs in another server, and then there'll be 2 championships within one grid, so the drivers who are in the bottom half of the grid don't feel like they don't have anything to fight for. So hopefully that's a nice little improvement on what we're doing at the moment. So we're sat on board with Derek at the moment. It currently in P20 we were 157.3, so he'll be looking to improve. What do you think of the racing system? And you have to say it's good, by the way.
I think the idea behind it was very, very well thought out. Initially, when we did the splits,
yeah,
because first we split the AMs into 2 tiers, didn't we?
That was for rookies, yes.
Yeah, for the rookies, sorry. That because there was a significant pace difference between the top of the field and the bottom of the pack, wasn't there?
Yes.
And I think it's not. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think I put in the chat. It doesn't feel as daunting now for a driver, for example, going from tier 1 AMs up to the pro level and competing with the elite and the aliens. It gives you that. Yes, it's a progression, but it's not a massive step. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah. So you're going up smaller increments to be able to compete with drivers who are hopefully of similar abilities to you, I think.
Yes, I agree, yeah.
So it's just adding those 2 extra steps in, and when we have scenarios like we have this season with rookies. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. With rookies,
yeah, it's right. Duffner's just been very, very aggressive on Donzo.
Interestingly, they had contact in practice.
Well, Duffner's just overtaken Donoso, is it?
Yeah.
And they're both on a flying lap.
Oh, that is clearly against FRL rules.
Yes, it's a little bit naughty. And I think Donoso's indicating that with a little flash of the lights on the run down to the bus stop, to the chicane. So
Ryan, yeah, that's a bit naughty. So Ryan Blanchett, currently P14, pops himself into P9. I've just noticed an interesting thing which I'll show between qualifying and the race in terms of what the splits and how certain drivers have ended up in this split. But I'll do that in the break rather than the last 2 minutes of qualifying, as Ryan Blanchett, I think, has finished his qualifying runs for the evening. Georgi Filipov, currently in P18, is just a 10th up on his lap at the moment. Derek's hovering about a 10th, 2/10, and now it's just gone into negative, going through the first corner. So that's disappointing for him. So 2 minutes left. So drivers potentially have these drivers have the opportunity to do one more run after this one. I've got 2 more runs to finish.
Alan Brown's a 10th up on the end of sector 1.
He's 10th down according to me overall.
Oh no, sorry, tell a lie. My screen's changed changed driver. So I was Duffner that was going quicker.
Yeah, Duffner is a 10th of a second up at the moment. And Simon the Turninator Turner is just going through the final corner, currently P23, up on his lap time. Is this going to be a big improvement for Simon, and is he going to move quite far up the grid? Potentially, by the looks of things, into the 56s for Simon. Yes, he jumps into 17th with a 56.8. That was a good lap from him. Mark Vilheim, one of the championship protagonists last season, currently in P14, so he'll be looking to improve. But that time, a 56.3, is not awful. It's just,
no, it's not.
Just the lap times above him are just getting ridiculously fast.
Yes.
So Darren Marks
I mean, I think
asked for a helicopter cam, so we can have a look at Alan Brown in the helicam.
it wasn't Nick Stick running at the front of the AMS in the last series.
No, was it? It was Patrick Den, who was the eventual winner from last season.
Yeah, I'm sure Nick Stick was up there in the top 5 though, wasn't
Yes.
he, most races?
Yeah, Nick the Stick was.
Well, look at he's 1.3 off the lead.
Well,
And he's no slouch.
No, he's not. Absolutely not. So Jan Duffner is a 53.9 at the moment. That is just insane to be. I think you can accept. Well, actually, just looking at this, looking at the top 4 on the grid, you've got Jan Duffner 53.9, Michael 54.2, Jerome 54.3, Christian Bertoncello 54.5, and then Nick Stick at 55.3. So there's 0.8 of a second between 4th and 5th.
Yes. Oh, Klassen's just put it in 5th.
Oh, Classens has gone for a 53.0 and has now pulled over. So yeah, that's a good time from Bjorn. No idea how. Chris, I will explain. All will be revealed shortly. So Jan is just currently going through. Where is he going? He's just coming up to the chicane down towards the nasty chicane, the BGK or the NKG chicane or something like that. In that BMW. So apparently he's an esports driver, which is interesting. And he's currently
is he?
Yeah, he's a 10th of a second up at the moment. Jerome is not slow at all. Michael's not slow, and Bertoncello, he raced in the AMS last season, but I think he had a couple of disconnection issues. Jan Duffner completing his final lap of qualifying goes even quicker with a 53.655. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Vilhane just coming through the final corner as well, and currently P14 remains P14. That was his fastest lap as well, with 56.220. Anyone else yet to finish? We've got Gedmans, I think, is just coming through the final corner in that Porsche, currently P24th. I don't think this is going to be an improvement. And that, yes, ladies and gentlemen,
he goes to 23rd.
Oh, he does. He does increase. So cars are now on the grid. I'm just waiting for. I will do a quick summary of the starting positions before we move on. So Terry Williams in P26, Giorgio Borgio in P25, Edgardo Donoso in 24, Christopher Gedman 23, Derek Bruh 22, Barry Gibbons 21st, Mark GG in 20th, Georgi Filipov in 19, Simon the Terminator Turner in 18th, Lawrence Donnelly 17th, Fabian Carner in 16th, James Smagersgale in 15th, Mark Vilhane in 14th, Ian Chica Thompson in 13th, Tudor in 12th, Stuart Pryor 11th, Dries Verhurst in 10th, then Ryan Blanchett in 9th, Arman Kasasanovic in P8, Alan Brown in P7, Nick the Stick in 6th, Bjorn Claessens in 5th, Christian Bertoncello in P4, Michael in P3, Jerome Acuna in P2, and top of the tree with that absolute insane time is Jan Duffner. So, if you give me 2 moments, what did you make of that qualifying there?
It started off what I thought were quick times, and it finished ridiculous. I mean, that's 15 minutes gone already of the evening. It goes so fast when there's it just blows me away how some of the guys can put times in that they do.
Yes, why?
We thought would.
I'm just trying to figure out why Jan Duffner is in the AMS, and I don't know why, because he must have improved since the last time he had done his hot stint at Barcelona. But I will share anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our hot laps tool, which we use to define which split drivers are in. So as we can see, Jan Duffner, at the time he did this, went into the AM category, but for some reason he has gone in and has improved it again, and he set a 1:44.318 for his average lap time over 7 laps. Who was the guy in second place? Acuna, wasn't it?
30 seconds.
So Jerome Acuna, who was popping in low 54s, his average lap time at Barcelona was a 47.680. So we can only go off the data that the drivers give us, is what I'll say, to be able to place drivers into specific tiers. So that is the tool which we have at our disposal, and sadly, a come race day, the sandbags are exited from the car, and they seem to go a lot quicker. But point taken that Jerome Acuna probably shouldn't be in the AM category. But at the time when the data was supplied, he was placed into the AMs based off that information. But there are certainly some fast drivers in this split who probably are a lot quicker than the times they've shown us. So Michael was P3, I believe, is in P69 in the hot stint timer with a 1:44.8. So that now would be silver, but at the time when this was issued, a 44.5 was the cut-off point for them to go into pros. So hopefully that gives drivers a little bit of the people on the stream a little bit of an understanding of how drivers are separated into the tiers, and sadly we can't necessarily control the data that they give us.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, that if someone does end up in the wrong tier.
Yeah, but then I look at it as if the scenario ever arose where I was winning by 30-40 seconds, say, I probably would get bored.
Yes, I would. I'd be like, well, what's in it for me? There isn't anything in it for you when you put it on pole by a second, and after lap 1 you're 3 or 4 seconds in front.
So I can imagine Mr. Nopek from last night probably enjoyed that race more than he did the 2 races on Tuesday.
Yes,
because
1,000,000%.
Because he was fighting. But then there are some other drivers who don't like not winning every race.
Yes. Yeah.
And as soon as they're not winning the race, they feel like their nose is put out of joint. But there we go.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and I get it. Some people are overly competitive, other people enjoy the battles, but the people that enjoy the battles, there are people that enjoy just driving around on their own at the front.
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy driving around on my own in the middle or towards the back.
Yeah,
I think my first couple of races on ACC, I was probably, when I qualified, I was happy if I was 7 seconds off the pace.
Yeah.
But that was when we were racing, when there was one tier on PlayStation, and we were racing the likes of Kraziz, who was, at the time, waist,
the man to beat.
midriff, chest, shoulders and head above everyone else.
Oh yeah.
I do like the lights at Nurburgring. They do look very pretty.
Yes. I'm currently in free camp, sat on the exit of turn 1, on the outside of turn 1 again.
Oh, you're preparing for the carnage.
Just waiting for them to come through.
So we've got Jerome, we've got Jan, Jerome, Michael, Christian, Bjorn, Nick, Brizzle, all jostling for positions. The tyres should be warm. We are getting ready for the start of the race. As they come in across towards the start-finish line, on your marks, get set,
green light,
go! I almost nailed it. Jan Duffner pulls into the front of Jerome Acuna. Acuna tries to go into the slipstream, has to back out of it slightly as they head into turn 1. You've got Michael on the inside of the corner. Jan Duffner looks as though he's got that lead pretty comfortably, but does run slightly deep, gets on the power quite nicely though. You can see Michael just on the left hand side. Is he going to get the power down as they go into the Mercedes arena? No. Although, tempting fate. Oh no, there's a little bit of contact. Bjorn Carstens has been hit from behind, and Mark Wilhelm absolutely pummels into him. Christian Bertoncello is dropping down the grid as well. I'm not quite sure what's happened. Bertoncello, where are you? Bertoncello is just turning his car round, and that's going to be disappointed after such a strong first race. Bjorn Claessens in P25 will also have damage, not just from the initial contact, but also being absolutely, well, driven into by Mark Vilhane, who's managed to get going again and is now following Ian Chika Thompson for P23rd. Let's catch up back with the drivers at the front. Jan Duffner has 1.2 seconds lead over Michael. Acuna is chasing down chasing down car number 213. What was your view of turn 1?
Turn 1 was surprisingly very, very clean. I think all the contact happened in turn 4.
Yes.
Turn 3 and 4. One car looked like he got turned round in the middle of turn 3.
Yeah, that was Bjorn.
Was that Bjorn?
Mm.
Which then obviously caused the car to go wide, and I think he just spun on the marbles on the outside. The car that spun in the middle of the track did the honourable thing, kept his foot on the middle pedal, and let everyone go past until that space. Derek's going for a trip down the pit lane.
Yeah, as we've just seen, Fabian Kern had been overtaken into the final corner by James Smagerscale, so he's gained at 4 positions since the very, very start. And now Fabian's trying to challenge him back down into turn 1. I think he's going to be too far back, but this is always the way. It can be largely a clean start, and then turn 4 ends up carnage, or the last corner ends up carnage.
Yeah. It's them big braking zones. Turn 1 bunches everyone up, and then everyone's jostling for position on the exit. Same as the run down into the chicane in the last sector.
Yeah, I only feel like I'm able to breathe after about lap 3. In terms of when you know who you're going to be battling for the race. Stuart Pryor's just overtaken Tudor into P9, although Tudor I think is just falling down the grid at the moment as he's struggling to get back going again. So he's gone from P9, dropped down to P17, and Christopher Gedman's right behind him to drop him down to P18. So that move is not going to be made. James Smagerscale is in P10. He's starting to hold up a few drivers now after gaining 5 positions since the start. Tudor has now dropped down to P21st. I'm not sure if he's gone off again. Doesn't look as though he's gone off, but he's just under quite severe pressure. To remember everyone that these drivers have to wait until 20 minutes into the race to complete their pit stop, so any damage and they have to go and repair it, it doesn't count as their pit stop. They would still have to go in again to have a refuel. They can't refuel at all, but to change tyres, so a minimum of an additional 30-second stop. The only benefit here at Nurburgring is the pit lane's quite short.
Yes, well, I think the pit lane itself is not that short, but the pit lane limiter is quite a way down the lane, isn't it, if I remember rightly?
Yeah, so Alan Brown's gone defensive into turn 1 from Dries. He's going to try and block the apex as much as possible. Dries going to try and get round the outside as they head down towards Mercedes Arena. Brizzle runs a little bit wider coming out of turn 3 into turn 4, but is defending that position very, very well. Dries is then in turn run wide himself, which is giving Stuart Pryor a little bit of Ryan Blanchett a little bit of a run, but no move has been made there. Tudor's now back up into P18 and has the Gedman behind him again. He was talking about trimming his beard ahead of tomorrow's race to gain a tenth of a second.
Who was that, Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, he needs to. No, he'll be fine.
I feel sorry for my teammates. I haven't even practiced yet.
I'm going to do a little bit tonight after this stint.
Yeah,
I was going to jump in the server and then realised it was just turning 8 o'clock, and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to see if Mr. Williams wants company tonight.
Always want company, so...
Because I know sometimes you have company on a Tuesday with
Stringer
Ryan.
and Dell.
Yes.
Although Stringer's got his new wheel now, so I bet he's going to disown me.
Probably.
So Dries Veerhurst has got past Alan Brown, so Dries is now into P6, Alan Brown P7, Blanchard 8th, Pryor 9th, Karner 10th. The driver Jan Duffner is 3.5 seconds ahead of Michael in P2. Then we got 2.2 seconds to Racuna in P3, Nick the Stick 4, Amir Kasasanovic in P5. So Acuna's lost 1 place since the start. Stick and Kasasanovic have gained 2 and 3 spaces respectively. I don't think Chris is going to fully take off his beard, Darren. I think a part of him will be missing. It'd be like Samson if his beard came off, wouldn't it? Barry Gibbons is under pressure going into turn 1, but hasn't lost the position. Simon Turner and Mark GG are fighting away for P13 as well. Burton Sello starting to progress back through the grid after his treacherous start, shall we say.
Yeah, he got caught up in a little bit, didn't he? Claessens must have been the same, because he's down in 25th.
Yeah, he was the driver who span.
Oh, sorry, yeah, he was the one facing the wrong way, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. So let's have...
he's all over the back of Wilhelm.
Well, Wilhelm was the driver who drove into the... The field parted like the Red Sea, Moses at the Red Sea. So Wilhelm is just going to go around, trying to attempt to go around the outside of Chica. He's not going to make that move, but the grid kind of parted, but like the Red Sea around Bjorn Claessens. Bjorn Claessens, I'm not sure if that's damage or that's him flashing Mark Wilhelm, but he definitely has more pace than Wilhelm as they're going through the hairpin. Approaching the Schumacher S's, Wilhelm drives back onto the racing line. It's not going to allow Bjorn to get through easily, which is allowing Ian Thompson to just kind of drift away.
I wonder if Bjorn's carrying a little bit of damage on that Honda.
Yeah,
because I know how quick that Honda is in comparison to the Porsche.
Both of them.
I didn't see how much the impact was when he spun.
So
I just saw the aftermath.
Claessens was a 90-degree angle facing across the track. The cars parted either side of them, and then Wilhelm, as the cars moved out of the way, just didn't have time to react and just went straight into the middle of him, which is a shame. So there's a fight for P5 as well between Nick Stick and Kasasanovic. It's very easy for you to say. My British accent, I don't think I can even count my accent as well. Welsh.
Honda versus Audi.
Honda
versus Audi. I think the cars have got similar driving styles as well, haven't they?
Well, I've never driven the Honda, but I've driven the Audi.
How was that experience anyway?
Shocking. I just can't control the back end, so Kasasanovic is going to try and make the move into the braking zone? Well, if he was going to, that would have ended up with his front bonnet wiped off. Fortunately enough, he decides to back out of it. The one thing about the Audi, the only good thing about the Audi, is its top end speed is phenomenal.
Yes, once you get going.
Yeah, once you get out of the corner and stop having your back end sliding from side to side, or the back end wanting to overtake the front of the car, then it's lovely. It's just through corners I find it personally quite understeery. I don't often say but, Darren, if I'm honest.
Derek has got his mirrors full of Burton Cello.
It looks as though Nick Stick has 3 seconds. So, what's happened to Kasasanovic? He's dropped down to P9. He must have had an off. Sorry, I just have a notification of how much my wife has just drawn from the bank again. So, just flashed up on my watch. I was like, oh, right, okay. So, where is Derek? Derek's in P8.
Yeah, he's got Burton Cello, but right on his bumper. But we all know what Derek's like to pass. Oh, bit of contact maybe.
Yes, it did flag up. There was a little bit on my, as you can see from the warning sign on the left-hand side. but I think this should be a formality. And to be honest, if I was Derek, I'd just let him go.
The thing is with Derek, he doesn't give up a fight.
No,
I mean, he's defended down the start-finish straight. He's got every right to do so.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But he's also going to lose a place to Gedman, which will infuriate him.
Yes, and I'm sure Chris will pass him, if he passes him, with a smile from ear to ear.
Yeah, Fabian Carner's facing the wrong way. I'm not sure if that was contact or that was a spin. Given the fact that he's in a Porsche, I'd possibly say... I think it's probably contact that has caused him to face the wrong way, because Kasar Asanovic also had a little bit of a flag on him as well. So Kasar Asanovic is now in P9 after fighting for P5 not too long ago. He's being challenged by Barry Gibbons in P10. Pit window opens in just under 9 minutes. So Kasar Asanovic does have damage, or he's just allowed 2 cars just to breeze past him in Gibbons and Donnelly. Or the other thing, he might have gone into fuel saving mode. Bit early.
Essentially, yes. Isn't PureSimGear, doesn't this series you have to go the full race with no fuel?
Yes.
Yeah.
So something.
A bit early to fuel save though.
Well, probably the best time to fuel save. At least you've got all the race to get the fuel back, basically. But
yes, true.
There doesn't seem to be any obvious
I think he's got
damage. Where?
Has he got flappy bonnet?
No.
I think he's got flappy bonnet.
Has he got flappy bonnet syndrome?
I think so.
He's also got no downforce.
Yeah, that's what makes me think he's...
Because he's lost another position as well to Filipov. So Armin Kasarasanovic is dropping down the grid from P5 not too long ago to now in P13.
Yes, he's got flappy bonnet syndrome.
Right, okay. Joys of it for the race being at night. So Acuna has managed to get past Michael for P2 whilst all that excitement was happening. Also, Jan Duffner is gone. He's 11.2 seconds ahead of everyone else, which is a shame. We've also got James Smaggersdale, who was pirouetting on the side of the track in the Mercedes arena, so he's dropped now down to P20. P16, Christian Bertoncello looks as though he was the other driver involved in that contact.
I think Acuna's made a mistake because P3 is 3/10 off him now.
No, so these two were about a second and a half away from each other, and then Acuna has passed Michael, and then Michael wants it back.
Sorry, I thought he was always in front.
No. So now the P1, 2, and 3 are exactly where they started the races.
Yes.
So he might well as not have had the last 13 minutes. But Acuna is still under pressure from Michael. So I think Michael may have made a mistake. Last time round, Acuna did a 58.9, whereas Michael did a 56.3. So I think you might be right. Acuna may have made a mistake. Somewhere in the lap before this lap, they were both pretty much even Stevens at 56 at 1 minute 56, 5 and 6 respectively. And Michael's going to try and do that lunge down into turn 1. The Honda will have the greater traction coming out of it to tackle turn 2 as they go side by side into the Mercedes arena. The Honda has got the drive as then they start to go a bit deeper into the sector. I don't think the BMW is going to get anywhere near here to make the pass. I didn't realise you have the FRL logo on your YouTube account. That's nice. Woody?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the FRL logo on your YouTube account. That's nice of you.
I have, mate, yes.
So MMS Speedy, hi from Italy. Buongiorno. Mark GG is playing with Georgi Filipov in the fight for P11, but Michael is still giving quite a lot of pressure to Jerome in P2.
Well, I know from experience last night, Mark GG is a very, very difficult car to pass. I spent the last 3 laps of the race behind him.
Well, that also must have made him become a patron, because he became a patron not too long after that as well.
Yes, I well and truly licked the stamp on the last corner on the last lap. And I messaged him in the chat. It was the only place that I could see where I was quicker than him. It was on the exit of the chicane and the braking zone into the last corner. That's the only place I could get near him. So I strategically left myself about 3 to 4 tenths coming into the chicane, and I was on his bumper.
Is it going to be a move, Mike? So Jerome moves across the middle of the track to try and defend. That was a little bit late, but Michael is now going side by side through turn 2. Nick the Stick is not too far away from these guys in P4, so he can still remain interested. The longer these two battle, the Honda seems to be having some problems under traction. Michael runs very, very wide. Nick the Stick is going to try and go around the outside as they head down the hill. Falls back into line. So now, instead of just having 2 cars fighting for second position, we've got a third protagonist who's joined in. Are you, in terms of pitting for these races, are you a late man, a middle man, or an early man?
I think it all depends on what's going on around you. I know the overcut is quite strong here because the pit lane's quite short. But I tend to go further into the pit window than most people.
Yeah, you've experienced missing the pit window.
Once.
You almost did it twice at Watkins Glen.
Yes. I remember when we did the 24-hour at Spa race.
Yeah.
I was in the chat with Alan Brown, Chris Kepin, and Ian Thompson. And obviously we run the maximum 65-minute stints. And I crossed the pit lane entry line with 6 seconds left on the stint.
Oh, it's excellent fuel management. Thompson is now defending, moves into the middle of the track. Again, I will say that was probably a bit of a late move, but he is under pressure. Oh, there's contact with Mark Vilhane. Mark Vilhane possibly had the right to that corner, and now Chica's under pressure from Bjorn Claessens and Mark Vilhane as they approach the braking zone. So Chica moves back onto the racing line. Mark Vilhane backs off a little bit, probably a little bit scared of Chica's car. You can imagine the noise in the chat, but I will probably say Chica moved a bit late into the braking zone as now they go through the final corner down the long start-finish straight. The BMW has a little bit more grunt than the Porsche as they approach it, as we go back to Barry Gibbons in P9 with Liam Donnelly behind. You probably want to go and see how that develops with Mr. Thompson, if I'm perfectly honest, as Thompson has been overtaken both by Bjorn Claessens and Mark Vilhane, but Mark Vilhane and Claessens seem to want to come through the field together, holding hands side by side.
Porsche runs a little bit wide.
Yes, he does.
This Claessen's going to have to run now.
Ooh,
I think he should get this now.
Yeah, he also has the nicer line through the corner, and probably, Mark just kind of goes, you go, mate, you have fun. So these two are now 19th and 20th. Simon Turner is just 2.2 seconds up the road. Interesting with pit strategies. So we spoke with Paul Walsh. I think that was at Imola last season after the Barcelona race, and he went basically the full right to the end of the pit window closing at 40 minutes. That was his strategy every single race. So he would qualify top 10, and then he would be leading the race at the end of the pit thing, and then he would fall back to probably about P5 or P6, just because he had so much time in open air. he gains so many positions, but then there's other drivers who are regimented. They have to pit stop at 30 minutes. They put 30 minutes of fuel in for a fuel race.
Yes.
Window is open.
Yeah.
And then there's drivers who have so much damage at the start they're just crawling to get to the pits. So
well, the pit window has just opened, so let's see who makes that dive. I think someone has already dove.
So Armin has jumped in straight away to the pit stop, to the pit. So
that will be to repair that flappy bonnet he had before.
Yeah, Claessens, Thompson, Garner, and Vilhein. So Vilhein and Claessens we definitely know had damage. Thompson probably had damage because of that collision, a little bit of a tap with Vilhein a few moments ago.
Yes.
So that possibly explains that. We are down to 25 drivers, so we've lost one driver in this race already. Who is wanting to fight each other and give us some entertainment? So
Filipov's 3/10 behind
Mark GG.
Mark GG.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go on.
I stopped myself talking because I thought, my high behind was going to come in and clean them both out.
So who's that? That is Tudor.
Yeah, Tudor. Sorry, I haven't got the first names up on my screen.
I can only see T Mihai, but I don't trust myself with the pronunciation of the surname. So,
okay.
So you can tell when I don't have a clue how to pronounce their surname. So I either say their full name or their car number.
Yeah, he was very, very late on the brakes into the hairpin. I think he actually missed his braking point. And luckily, by the time he needed to really stop the car, Filipov turned in front of him and he just run wide.
Yeah, Filipov and Tudor both dived into the pits, so they've probably seen that as an opportunity to get their stops in whilst they're involved in some traffic. Yes. Michael is still 1.2 seconds behind Jerome. MMS Speedy, we do indeed tomorrow. Oh, PS5. We are developing this. It is in the pipeline. There might be a driver swap event announced in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be interesting to get that one done and dusted. So please make sure drop into the Discord. I'm sure Christopher, Neil, who I'm talking to right now, and the rest of the team will be able to advise in more detail than I am.
Yes, Chris is your main PC admin. PlayStation admin. Sorry. He's got his fingers in everything, so he'll have more of an idea of what's going on and future events coming up. I help out on the PlayStation side as and when I can, as well as helping out with the PC side as well. So Chris will be your man if he's got any idea on dates, but I think if anything's going to happen, everyone will find out on the same day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, dropping on the Discord, have a look at all the other events going on as well.
I know we've kind of put a line in the sand for the PlayStation guys, because we're going to be announcing 2 one-off events on PC, and we want to try and coincide one of them with a potential driver swap event.
Yes.
So Chris Smiley in the chat says Jan Duffner has an opportunity to go for a KFC drive-through during his pit stop. He's leading by 21 seconds at the moment as we're watching the Budweiser car of Ryan Blanchett drive around the track. Stuart Pryor in P8 is having a nice quiet, well, he's in the pits at the moment. He's in P10. He's having a quiet race and he's progressing through the field quite nicely. With 35 minutes in, we will start to have a look at the pit stop times with a battle. Oh, Jerome's gone spinning! He's gone spinning! He's in the sand!
Oh no! And he's got a group of cars you're going to have to let through as well.
Yeah, and he is slowly. He's done very, very
well.
Oh,
don't cut that too much because you will get a disqualification.
Well,
he's got away with it.
He got away with it, but that was a fighting P2. Dropped down to P6. He's lucky he hasn't got any damage. He's now got Ryan Blanchett chasing him down. Alan Brown's been promoted to P5. Dries in P4. Nick the Stick in 3. Michael in 2. Jan Duffner trying to decide if he's having a mighty bucket for one, a fillet zinger meal, or a snack box. But Jerome is now under pressure from Ryan. So Honda versus Ferrari. Ryan always loves driving the Ferrari as Jan Duffner pops in a 54.9. Just for
that'll be interesting now how quickly he finds his way back through them cars in front of him.
Yeah, but it's lap time. So Jerome's fastest lap is a 55.9. Then you've got Alan Brown, who's done a 56.6. Then Dries 56.2. Nick the Stick 56.2. And Michael with a 56.2 as well. So Jan is just in a league of his own. Jerome drops into the pits, so he's going to serve his stop now. So there's not a massive amount of difference in pace between the drivers. So I think he's going to struggle. Woody isn't registered for the season.
Yes, Smiley. I normally have my son every weekend. I normally pick him up on a Friday. Haven't got him this weekend due to the 9 hours of Kyle Army tomorrow. So I thought I'd jump on and keep James company. I contemplated racing, but personally Nurburgring and me don't get on, and especially at night it's even worse.
And in the AMs. What could go wrong?
Yeah. Well, in all fair, I had one incident last night when I hit Turner. Had a spin on the exit of the chicane.
Yeah.
And it looked like he'd stopped, so I stopped moving over to the right hand side. And as I got level with him, I realised he was rolling straight back. And as I got to him, his car come back onto the track, and he hit the rear left corner of my car, which then put me facing the wrong way in the pit lane, and I had to sit and wait for the field to come past. So that was the only thing that threw me off last night.
And also, don't tell him he can admin power it. I like having the company. So, battle of the pit stop so far. So, Jerome Acuna's pit crew got his stop in and out in 63 seconds. Kasarasanovic, I definitely think he definitely had damage because his was a 73.8. Sorry, a 92-second stop. Klassen's was 88.8. Wilhelm was 86.3. Thompson's was 89.5. So the slowest stop so far is Kasarasanovic with a 92 seconds. So that must have been quite a substantial amount of damage for him. But so far, everyone inside the top 15 has pitted. Alan Brown is also going to get serviced by his pit crew, going in from P5. Ryan Blanchett. The thing now with Acuna, if everyone else goes for a bit longer in terms of their stop, the advantage which he potentially has had by going in earlier is going to be counteracted by the fact that he's going to have to pass Donoso, Gedman, Turner, Bruh to be able to...
Well, yeah, we all know Gedman will go late into the pit window unless he has contact and has damage with anyone.
Yeah, he's still trying to figure out how to drive the car. His setup may be dialed in, but...
Yeah.
Although he had practice today.
Oh, did he?
Well,
Donoso's going in the pits. Donoso's pitted.
So Donoso's gone in the pits. Alan Brown is coming out quite ahead of Acuna. So Acuna, I just want to say Acuna Matata every time I say it.
He's not that far ahead.
No, but he still has a clear advantage. He wasn't coming side by side down the down the start finish straight. Yeah. Derek is under pressure from the Turninator in P10. The reason why
he's been behind him now for a fair few laps.
Maybe Simon's just trying to boost up his safety rating. Nick the Stick has jumped in the pitch. So has Ryan Blanchett. So nice to see where Ryan comes out compared to Acuna. Is he going to slot into that 4-second gap between Acuna and Brown, or is he going to fall in behind him into Pryor's territory? I know they're good friends, Ryan and Stewart, so be interesting to see how they compete against each other when they come out of the pits.
I'm intrigued to see if anyone is going to go right to the end of the pit window. I think Duffner will go right to the end of the pit window.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
Gedman will.
Yeah, Gedman.
One thing I always do when I'm setting up my fuel load for the start of the race as well is I always fuel to get to the end of the pit window, and plus a couple of laps.
You're in the Porsche, so you have to fuel to get to bloody Glasgow.
Yeah. Well, no, I only run it with probably 5 to 10 litres more than I need to.
I run it with 5 to 10 races more than I need to. So Armin's definitely back up to speed again now. His last time round was a 56.8. He's chasing down Tudor in P18. Christian Bertoncello's got a 14-second gap to Filipov in P16. Donnelly's just coming out of the pits. Blanchett came out behind Pryor by 1.7 seconds. Despite having, well, it was only 0.2 slower than Pryor in the pit stop, so with the Armin's right up the backside of Tudor as they head in towards the braking zone. Tudor goes, now, do you know what, mate? Go ahead. As Armin then skips the second part of the chicane, defensively drives into the final corner, which is going to give Tudor a little bit of contact, I think. But I think that was mainly due to connection rather than actual physical car contact.
The Honda seemed to twitch a lot on the exit, didn't it?
It did, and it was a natural twitching. It wasn't oversteer twitching. It looked like
that's a very late move.
That was a bit naughty,
late.
And
that's even worse.
Yeah, I don't think Armin's going to be. He shouldn't be overly happy with his initial defensive move. His first defensive manoeuvre was fine. His second defensive manoeuvre, where he kind of closed the gap even more, that was bad. And then Tudor kind of got his revenge.
Not what you do.
No, I joke. I don't mean revenge. But
I think
Armin got his just desserts.
Yes, that's the phrase I was looking for.
So Derek is dropped now behind Simon Turner. So Derek is in P5. I think there may have been contact between Derek and Simon, but that is Derek must be having a nosebleed up in P5 as well. Gedman's in P9, 0.2 of a second behind Acuna, anticipating Acuna to disappear off into the distance. Especially given the fact that Chris's fastest lap time is at 1:59, Acuna's at 1:55. So 4.5 seconds difference between the two. Gedman is indicating left. Is that to allow Dries? Yeah, that was to allow Dries to come through this on the same lap. They're fighting for positions. It's just that Gedman hasn't pitted yet, but he's being ultra kind by allowing them through. I'm not sure why he's doing that, but Bertoncello slowly progressing, qualifying P4, now back into P14 with the drivers of 5th, 4th and 3rd. He could potentially get back up into P11th after those drivers have had their stops. So 26 minutes left of the race. We've got 6 minutes left of the pit window as Barry Gibbons has dived into the pits to get serviced in the Audi. Fair play to you for being able to drive it.
Smiley's just put in the chat that the relationship between Ryan Blanchett and Stuart Turner is Stuart Pryor is Ryan Stewart's boss.
Oh. I suggest that.
So this will be interesting where they come out.
So Pryor is 1.5 seconds ahead of Ryan at the moment.
No, it's Turner, isn't it?
No, it's Stuart Pryor and Ryan Blanchett.
Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, yes, it's Stuart Pryor, yes.
Yeah.
So is Pryor going to get one over on his boss then?
That'll be an interesting conversation over a cup of tea on Monday morning.
It certainly will be.
So Derek is in the pits as well, so he's come in from P11th. He's going to get any damage that he needs to get repaired on his car. Jan
Duffner's
Duffner
going round for one more.
Yeah, Duffner's just going into turn 1, so he's not going to be serviced yet. Michael is
go on.
Going to the chicane, so interesting to see it. So Nick the Stick has come out. So Michael has indeed gone into the pit, so he's having his stop. Nick Stick is about 35 seconds. Well, quite a bit. Interesting to see when Nick the Stick comes out. When
Yes.
Michael comes out to Nick the Stick, because I think that's going to be our battle.
I'll keep an eye on P2 that's in the pits and see when he's dropping on his.
Yeah, Alan
Keep
Brown
that
is in
awesome.
P6, so he's now been overtaken by Jerome Acuna. So Acuna's moved back up into P5. He's still 4.7 seconds behind Nick the Stick. So if Michael comes out behind Nick the Stick, he's going to be right in the middle of that sandwich, probably for some time as well. So basically what we're saying is, what I said about him potentially being caught up in traffic is absolute tosh, because he is absolutely flying Jerome. Last lap round was a 55.7, Jan Duffner was a 55.5.
So Nick Stick's just coming into the chicane now on the run to the last corner. And he's currently still in his pit box.
So yeah, we're just on board with Nick.
He's just dropped and he's off.
Right, okay,
He's just leaving the pit lane now.
So we are on board. We're going to go on board with Michael, as we can see Nick in the background. So Michael has got out quite comfortably in head of Nick. So that's going to providing he keeps the four wheels on the black stuff. That's going to give Michael a nice second place once he heats up those tyres, and provided he doesn't make any more mistakes. But that's 23 seconds left of the race. Barry Gibbons under pressure from Christian Bertoncello, side by side through the final corner. Bertoncello has got past and is going to disappear off down the start-finish straight. That was Honda versus Audi, and this time that I think the driver made the difference more than anything else. Simon Turner's in the pits as well as Christopher Gedman, so Gedman's going to get serviced by his crew. Jan Duffner will be the only driver who is yet to stop.
Yeah, I thought he'd go right to the end of the pit window, and he will get there with about, I think it's roughly about a minute.
Yeah, he's 40 seconds into his lap at the minute, so he has about another minute and 50 to get round, but he probably does have to serve this lap. Interestingly, I've just noticed the livery on Barry Gibbons' car. It's an SBR livery.
Oh, is it?
So it's a sector. So I know Michael Firth is running the PC side of things for that at the moment. So Christian Bertoncello now P10. So he's done very well to get back through the grid. He's 11 seconds behind Georgi Filipov. Derek Brook came out in 15th, back ahead of Simon Turner, quite interestingly. But there's only 0.7 of a second between us. So it's ding ding ding, round 2 for Derek and Simon. Let's have a look at our. So Christopher Gedman came back out in P22. So staying out long didn't really do much for him. Disappointing for Ian Thompson. I think he was quicker in the McLaren round Nurburgring, but he's in P24 at the moment, running the 24 hours of Spa livery. Interestingly. 24 hours of Spa livery.
Oh, is that Alan on his?
Yeah. So
Aston Martin.
No, it's in the BMW. Who ran the BMW for that race? I cannot remember. But Alan Brown is now in P6. He's just been overtaken by Dries Verhurst for that position. Alan is last time round 1.3 seconds slower than Dries, so getting back used to the rhythm in the Aston Martin, I assume.
That's the BMW we ran.
I thought you ran the Aston Martin.
No, we ran the BMW.
What's the Aston Martin that Bristol's running then?
That was the 24-hour livery for Crazy's team.
Oh.
No.
Oh, my
Crazy's
team. Yeah. No, yeah, we drove the Aston Martin.
Yeah. Has it been a long day, James?
It's been a long life, mate. I'm really only 16. I've just had a very, very hard life. Since I created FRL, I've gained at least 110 years.
I've gained 10 and I've not been there that long.
Oh god, I noticed some grey chest hairs the other day. That was depressing.
Brizzle's putting some pressure on Veilhurst.
Oh, the pit window is now closed.
The pit window is now closed, so Jan Duffner did indeed serve his stop, and that, lo and behold, that was the fastest stop of everyone with a 61.8, as if he needed it.
Yeah. Come on, give everyone a chance.
Yeah. Give yourself a stop and go 30 or something, just for fun. Fabian Carner and our good friend Armin have had a little bit of contact in P20th and P21st. Armin's dropped down to P22nd, so Slovenian's not having the best of nights tonight. Qualified in P8 and has dropped all the way down the grid to P22nd, so I do feel for him on that one. Alan's dropped back down to over a second behind Dries. Anyone wanting to play with each other. It looks as though Simon and Derek are the only two that want to hold hands. Fresh sandbags, Briz. From JR in the chat.
Yeah, I've just spotted that as you read it out.
He's just been to the beach today. I don't think there's a beach near Silverstone, is there?
No. No, nothing there is.
He's caught 94.
It's just nipped to B&Q.
He's caught 94 buses to go to the Brighton coast to get some stones.
Yeah.
So let's have a quick summary of our grid which we got going on at the moment. So Giorgio is in P25, Thompson in 24th, Edgardo, Gedman, Armin, Fabian Carner, Mark Vilhene in P19. Bjorn Claessens has made his way up to P18. He's challenging Tudor in the next lap or so. Simon Turner is 16th. Then we've got Derek. We're just going to watch Bjorn Claessens and see if he can make this move this lap on Tudor. Given the pace difference, there's a distinct possibility. So we've got Tudor in 17th, Turner 16th, Derek 15th, Donnelly, Smaggersgale, Mark GG is Claessens going to try and make the move around the outside and get the inside with a hairpin. I think he is, you know. So Tudor gives him a lot of room and a lot of respect.
Yeah, there wasn't much defending there, was there?
No. Not at all. So now 4 seconds up the road is the Derek versus Simon battle for Bjorn to close in on. So where do we get to? Smaggersgale, Mark GG in 12th. Then we got Barry Gibbons in 11th, Bertoncello 10th, Filipov 9th, Blanchett 8th, Pryor 7th, Brown in 6th, Verhurst in 5th, Acuna in 4th. Fabian Kerner's showing us a yellow flag as we just see him driving across the grass. He's back down in P20th. So Acuna 4th. Nick the Stick on for a podium at the moment, but he potentially may be under pressure from Acuna towards the end of the race. Michael in P2 and Jan Duffner checking outside what the weather is. Almost 30 seconds ahead of Michael in second. That is just insane.
Yeah, that's... This is what we were saying earlier on as well, though. Would you enjoy being that far ahead? Some people do. I'd personally rather be in a battle.
Yeah, I would. I would like it to happen once in my life.
Yes.
Just once.
I've had it happen once, and it was on the PlayStation 4. In a GT4 race at Kyalami.
Oh, nice. So Smaggersdale and Donnelly want to get involved. Smaggersdale's going to try and do the long way round. Oh no,
I think
Donnelly's just let him through. Potentially may have been contact before that.
Possibly, yeah.
I think Smiley's found I would enjoy it once pretty funny. Armin is fighting against Fabian Carner this time. Carner's probably going to be racing with Jan Barth in the race tomorrow. Ryan Blanchett and Stuart Pryor were exchanging positions a few moments ago. So maybe some team orders coming into effect there. Again, and there are some very, very, very nice liveries on display tonight.
Yes, there are.
I do like these Budweiser liveries. They are pretty nice.
I'm just going to have a flick through now, and I'm going to pick out what I think is the best livery on the grid. So just bear with me while you carry on entertaining the people that are watching. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, by the way, with it being on YouTube.
Yeah, don't forget the like and subscribe button.
Hit the share button. Share it around as well. Share it in if you've got your own little Discord or your little race team. Get in the link, share, get more people involved.
Yeah, obviously we're at round 2 in this season. The next season already is shaping to be bigger and better than ever before. This is our biggest grid we've ever had. So appreciate you might only see 25 cars on the grid, but there's another 25 in the pro tier. We've got sprints, which is run in 2 tiers, rookies, which is run in 2 tiers. So yeah, it's
the rookies is running 3 tiers really. You got the pros, and then you got the 2 splits in the AMs.
No, there's only tier 1 and tier 2.
Oh, sorry, yeah, the rookies. Sorry, yeah.
In the AMs.
I was getting ahead of myself then, James.
Yeah,
after the conversation we had earlier.
my ideal state, if I'm perfectly honest, would be Tuesday would be something, a GT4 race, something, just a bit of fun. Thursday would be your tier 3, tier 4. And Friday would be tier 1, tier 2, and then you'd have Saturday your endurance. That would be my ideal state if I was perfectly honest.
Yes.
But
looks like the Nozo's got a bit of damage on the front of that Mercedes.
Is that in P23rd? Yeah, he hasn't quite got
Thompson's caught him very quickly.
Yeah, disappointing for Ian. I can't imagine he's too impressed with being in P24th. Hasn't, again, it just shows the consistency of the rest of the grid that he hasn't managed to progress through. Alan Brown has just moved back into P5. Well, they're side by side as they approach the braking zone. Alan's going to try and go very, very wide into the corner, which has allowed Dries to get comfortably through in the chicane. So Dries has now moved back up into P5th. This is our closest battle on the grid. Alan Brown and Dries are trying to exchange positions as much as possible. I don't think Alan needs the safety rating. Kana and Armin have made contact again. Not sure what's happened there, but it doesn't look as though there's much love lost between the Porsche and the Honda drivers. Armin goes for and there's more contact between Armin and Fabian as well as they go for turn 1. This time Armin is in front in P20. He's 16 seconds behind Mark Vilheim. Claessens is now right on the back of Simon Turner. Again,
I think Derek will be happy with that though. It'll give Turner something to look at other than the back of that Nissan.
Yeah, but then
hopefully let Derek pull a bit of a gap.
Or it could just act as encouragement for Turner and push him along.
Yes, yes.
But then you can see the difference in corner speed. So Simon Turner has kind of let Bjorn go past. Bjorn will now focus on Derek in front. So maybe Simon's thinking, if I let him through and Derek defends like a stupid idiot, then he might. Then Simon Turner's just span at the corner. So the best laid plans of mice and men often go wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a Scottish reference as well. So JR says, "Come on, Derek."
Come on, Del.
Going into the final corner, into the braking zone. Bjorn Claessens versus Derek. Worlds apart in terms of qualification space, but it all matters now because Bjorn has fallen down the grid after some contact at the start. Went back down into last positions. Is Bjorn? He's a bit too far back to make a move into turn 1. Derek defends the apex quite nicely, runs a little bit wide. Bjorn is taking a tighter line into turn 2, but still is a second behind. Turner, where is Turner? Turner's still in P18, so he's lost an extra positions to Tudor, but Vilhane is 2.2 seconds behind him, so hasn't lost too much, Turner, but not gained much either. Mark GG and Gibbons potentially coming to a crescendo in this race. So if you can keep an eye on Derek versus
I will do,
Smith,
yes.
that would be fantastic.
I think if you ask Claessens after the race, though, he'll say that is one of the widest Nissans he's ever been behind.
Christian Bertoncello had a little bit of a visit to the sand or grass, depending on how you want to look at it, and Gibbons has dropped down to 7/10 behind. Bertoncello is 9.2 seconds in front of this battle, so is not in danger of falling into it at the moment.
He backed out. He backed out at the last minute. I thought Claessens was going to send up the inside of Derek.
Yeah, we're back on board.
He was too far back to make the move stick, though. Mandel just stuck his nerve and stuck to his racing line.
But Claessens
had to back out at the last minute, and
he's a lot closer this time round. Derek moves across the racing line. Claessens this time doesn't have the patience.
Take a lot of curb.
Did he just? He went through the front of Derek.
He did. No.
He did.
He's giving. Oh, did he?
Yeah, he went through the front, but there didn't seem to be any contact. But then, absolute fair play to Bjorn. He then just kind of went, oh, do you know what? That's probably not the nicest move I'm going to make in my racing life.
Yes.
I'll back out and allow Derek to come back through.
And get lapped by Duffner in the process as well.
Jesus.
So now, is Claessens played the long game now? I'll let the leader through and stick on his tail. Is he going to follow him through when he comes to lap Derek?
Well, we're on board with Claessens now as Derek is trying to let Jan Duffner through. Derek goes side by side with Derek and then disappears. So yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. You just kind of went, he's going to have to slow down, probably at a point where he doesn't want to slow down. I'm just going to follow him through. So he has 8 seconds to chase to get Donnelly now. So Donnelly last time out did a 58.5. Bjorn Claessen's fastest lap was a 56.4. I'm not going to count Bjorn's last lap because that was just a 10th of a second slower. So now he has an opportunity to get the hammer and nail down. Derek also lost a place to Tudor. So Derek lost 16th place to Tudor as well during during those events. Mark Vilhane is now 1.5 seconds behind Turner for P18.
Yeah, I think Sector 1 is the worst place you can get caught by the leaders because it's so fast and flowing. You lose so much time.
Something's brewing.
Something's brewing.
And it's not a cup of tea. Nick the Stick is now only 0.4 of a second ahead of Jerome Acuna.
Wow.
0.4 of a quicker. 0.4 of a second. Jerome was quicker last lap than Nick. So I think Acuna potentially has definitely does have the pace to make this. But then Nick stopped a lot later than Jerome. Jerome stopped as early as he possibly could. So maybe Nick's tyres might come back to Jerome's tyres might start to disappear towards the end. I don't think 30 minutes in a race is enough to make that happen, but there's a possibility.
The only thing I can think coming into effect here is how the cars handle with the fuel loads.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't been good enough in the Audi to understand
in theory,
that.
Though, they should be running with pretty much the same fuel load. They'll have only fuel to the end of the race.
Yes, yes. And,
that would have only really come into account during the pit window. But obviously, there's just turned 6 minutes left now.
So roughly about 3 or 4 laps left of the race. But Nick Stick is definitely is going to be under pressure. There is a lap car in front. I think that might be Gedman in front in the Porsche.
Yes, I'm hoping Chris gets well out of the way on the run down to the hairpin.
We have a nice bird's eye view of this fight unfolding.
I hope Chris stays out of the way.
He probably thinks I'm quicker. I'm quicker.
In all fairness, they're not close enough just yet.
No.
But you don't want them catching you through the Schumacher S's. And he's moved over.
Yeah, well played, Chris.
He's let off. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever want an example of how to... Oh, he's still flashing away. Oh no, side by side, Acuna! Matata has managed to get the move done into the braking zone. Nick Stick doesn't want to let it go too much. He will have the inside line for this corner. Yes, and Acuna's backed out. He's going to try and get a bit of contact, but he's managed to keep it on the black stuff. So Nick Stick gives a little bit of a flash. Jerome Acuna wants this third position. Gedman probably has the best seat in the house of this fight at the moment.
Yes, I think he does.
Oh, a lot quicker through the chicane. Jerome will have the inside line.
Oh, he's hit the wall.
Oh.
Nick Stick's hit the wall.
And that's and again, Gedman does the right thing. Yeah. He's not really trying to overtake him, but he also didn't want to lose too much pace.
Nick Stick was just Oh, wondering how much damage that caused on the Audi as he turned in. I think he turned in to get the switchback, and he turned in just that little bit too early and hit the wall.
It's quite a nice livery
so
as well.
I think, yeah, I was just going to say, going back to I flicked through the entire grid, and I'll have to say the Audis of Nick Stick is probably the best livery on the grid in my opinion.
See, I'm a fan of Bjorn's. Yeah, it's just on the stream at the moment, so that's quite a cool, colourful livery, which really helps my colour blindness. Simon Turner is now under pressure from Mark Verheyen, so it's just damage limitation for Mark at the moment. He's 5 positions lower than where he qualified. The Audi, so Nick Sticks is an Audi in-game livery. Good to Chris.
Oh, is it?
Explains why it's nice.
Yes, it is. Yeah, now he said that, it does. Yeah, I've seen that before in the game.
Yeah, it feels... For me, it feels wrong seeing Simon Turner not in a Porsche.
Yeah. It's weird. But then, it's like Ryan Blanchett. Was he running in the Audi?
He has run in the Audi. I think he's also running the McLaren.
Didn't he run in the Audi last, or did the McLaren in the last series? And I don't think he got on with the car. Because I noticed at the beginning of this series when he went to the Ferrari, he's been seconds quicker than what he was last series. We've got a yellow flag, and it's car 606.
Car 606, who is that? Sorry, I was looking at something. Can't see any more yellow flags, but
he's back on track now.
Yeah. So Christian Bertoncello is in P10. He's going for that damage limitation as well. Mark Verheyen is trying to chase down Simon Turner. Turner goes a little bit deep into that corner. Mark kind of backs off because he doesn't think he can make it into the Schumacher S's, which is probably a safe assessment.
Yeah, the Honda 606 is struggling to turn right. He's driving down the straight with his wheel at 45 degrees.
Who is that? Which driver is it?
P20.
Oh, P20.
So he'll probably drop back now.
Yeah, Kasper Stanovic. Yeah, he can.
Yeah, that's the one.
We're just on board him at the moment. And leader's on the final lap. Yeah, he can't turn into the corners. He just wants to finish this race. He has a massive cracked windscreen. His lights are flashing under braking. He's only 3.2 seconds ahead of Fabian Koenen, which he's already had a bit of fun with in this race. So, yeah. Derek's had
does he limp it round?
Yeah.
Does he limp it round for the another lap?
I think he's going to. So Simon Turner is now 0.3 of a second. Well, a couple of seconds behind Smaggersdale. I'm not sure if Donnelly. Sorry. I'm not sure if he's had any issues. Vilhane has dropped back a little bit, the Playboy. So now Turner just wants to have a bit of a... He's going to try and go for the switchback and get the power down earlier than Donnelly in front. Donnelly in the Audi, the Ferrari of Turner into the braking zone. Donnelly's going to have the tighter line going into the corner. Probably Turner got that under the wrong way round in terms of approach. He probably ideally wanted the inside line for the hairpin as they head up towards the Schumacher S's. We got
if you can afford Donnelly to go tight in the hairpin, he's going to get him on the exit.
But then Turner also has to worry about Vilhena behind.
Yes.
We got our leader just coming up to a minute and 30 into the lap, so we'll flick across to him as soon as possible to make sure we see him cross the line. Haven't seen
I'll keep an eye on the Turner battle while you're seeing the leader across the line.
So Jan Duffner going through the final corner. His pace, he's obliterated the field. His fastest lap is almost a second quicker than anyone else. He's 38 seconds ahead of everyone else. Jan Duffner wins round 2 here at Nurburgring, and he's probably haven't even broken a sweat. That was absolutely fantastic driving from Jan. A superb race from him. Let's go back.
Turner's off for the chicane, and Wilhine's got him.
So
Turner lost the rear on the turn into the chicane.
And Vilhine got him as well. So next across the line, 38 seconds behind, is Michael Gash van Dertner. Through the final corner, qualified in P3, claims P2 in the race, and that's a superb result from Michael. Great position from him. Next across the line is Jerome Acuna. P3 had a twitchy moment whilst battling with Michael, but managed to recover, claim P3, nicked the stick after a slight twitchy moment, possibly cost him his podium in P4. Dries Veerhurst in P5 crosses the line. Next is the Fresh Prince himself, Alan Brizzle-Brown, to claim P6, yes. Not sure what was happening with Gedman, they're messing around. Stuart Pryor and Ryan Blanchett 7th and 8th respectively. Georgy Filipov in P9 with a very good result from him, gaining 10 positions since the start. That's how you drive an hour-long race. Superb from Georgie. Christian Bertoncello not too far behind him, and that's your top 10. Mark GG on the same lap as the leader, just going through the final chicane in 11th. And then we got Barry Gibbons, just 3.5 seconds behind him to claim P12. Already have crossed the line James Smagascale Tudor, Derek, Bjorn Claessens, Lawrence Donnelly, Mark Vilhane, Simon Turner, Fabian Karner, Christopher Gedman, Armin, Ian Chika Thompson, Edgardo, and Giorgio Biggio with the results. But our winner today is Jan Duffner, and I think he was... I'm going to say this. I think he was a class above everyone else, and that was quite a deliberate way I've said he's a class above everyone else.
Yes, I get the point you're making.
Yeah. But then again, you had Michael, who had superb pace. Jerome's got superb pace. Christian Bertoncello obviously had that unfortunate incident. He's got superb pace. Bjorn Claessens, even though this is amateur, as I say in quotation marks, there are still some bloody quick drivers in here.
Yes, I agree.
So, what does Indianapolis have in store for us next week?
Chaos, because I believe...
Oh, the rookies is wet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So that's going to be chaos.
Yeah, the rookies is wet, but then everything else is based on real life weather. So
yes.
I given the fact that I live in Wales, I don't know the Indianapolis forecast.
You're just used to wet weather, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been damp. Although it's been quite dry for the last couple of days. My doors have shrunk back down to normal size for the shed.
Don't have to open them with a crowbar now then.
No, well, no, it's more open them's usually fine. It's closing them. I have to kind of jam my knee against the door to close it. So, but I've had to lock myself in so none of the heat escapes through any of the gaps. But that's not too bad. First and foremost, I have to say there were some superb, clean battles, clean fights. Yes, there was some contact, but there was some great racing on show tonight. Obviously, Jan Duffner superb. Michael, superb. Kuna, superb in terms of the podium. Secondly, great surprise, but thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Woodward.
Not a problem, mate, not a problem. It's always a pleasure.
It's changed from last night. It was always a chore.
Yeah, it's second night on the run, isn't it? I've got to be nice to you, mate. I've got to put up with you for 9 hours tomorrow.
Yes, and for those of you who find yourself having a spare 9 hours on a Saturday, please make sure you tune into the Formula Racing League TV Twitch channel for 9 hours of Kyle Army. We also have round 3 beginning on Tuesday, which is at Indianapolis in the Super Sprints. Then we go to Rookies, Tier 1 and Tier 2, and then we're back at PureSimGear GT3 Friday at Indianapolis at the same time. I wish you all a good weekend, and it's good night from